My name is Thomas Abend. I am one of the founder and CEO of VITAS, and we are developing AI voice assistants to automate repetitive phone calls, especially for healthcare providers. Originally, I had planned to do this pitch together with Michael Wolf from Asklepios, and we're working very close together. However, he had to cancel the pitch today because of sickness, and I will try to impersonate him as well as possible. We have talked about his slides, and I will present the slides in the name of Asklepios. The problem we're solving is seen on the left side. We know it all when we go to a doctor's office and the medical assistant is sitting at the reception and there are 3 patients waiting and 10 patients waiting in the waiting room, and every 2 minutes the phone rings and the medical assistants are always in a hurry. In addition to that, the shortage of skilled workers is getting worse and worse. And instead of 5 medical assistants, for example, in this office which were planned, there are only 3 because we don't find any more in this office. And 1 is pregnant, 1 is sick, and the only person sitting there doing everything is her. And we want to solve this problem. We want to give the doctor's offices an additional virtual assistant doing repetitive calls, and we are saving a lot of time and money. We were starting with this value, but we noticed this isn't the biggest pain, but the biggest pain is really the shortage of the skilled workers. And in addition to that, a lot of patients are complaining because the office is not reachable. They try it 4, 5, 6 times. Every time you don't get anyone. And even if you get the medical assistant, she's in a hurry. She is pissed and you need to get to the point as quick as possible. And we want to help these offices, we want to help these people with our solution with an AI voice assistant. During the last few pitches, we heard a lot about artificial intelligence, but I think it's very clear how such an assistant can help in an office, in a clinic, to answer these calls. And we are not doing it like most of us know it, for example, from your telephone provider with please press 1 if you want this, please press 2 if you want to shoot yourself, because waiting in this line is very, very annoying. And we're doing it on a human-like level. So we're using AI so you can talk to the system like you would with a human being. Hi, I want an appointment, I need a vaccination. And the assistant asks questions, for example, like, yeah, when do you have time? What would suit you? Okay, next week on Monday or Tuesday, do you have anything available? And this is how the assistant works. And especially with generative AI and large language models coming in the near future, we can all imagine how this can help a lot of healthcare providers with automating these very, very repetitive calls. We are using a software as a service system, meaning we have a cloud-based system, so you don't have to think about updates, you don't have to think about installation. You can be ready to go in like 15 minutes. And one thing, especially in the bigger healthcare providers, which is very important in this segment, is the privacy issues. So we have developed our system with a privacy-first approach, and we are using no US cloud providers such as Azure or AWS or Google Cloud, but we have built everything, even the AI part, on ourselves. And this is especially for the healthcare segment, very, very important part. Another thing is the customization. Every office, every doctor is a little bit different. Every clinic has its own processes. So it's very easy to customize our system. And this is done with a no-code basis. So you don't need expensive consultants to customize everything on your own. But we have built a very easy front end with this builder, and you can customize your own assistant with a drag and drop system. It's if you can use your iPhone, if you can use a smartphone, it's similar as easy to build your own assistant. You can customize the greeting, you can customize the use cases, you can customize the flow, and everything is on a module base. So you don't have to think about, okay, how do I get the patient's birthday? But you can do everything with the drag and drop system. And we have pre-trained modules, pre-trained question, and we have even complex modules such as appointment scheduling. So you don't have to think about this on your own. You don't have a linear flow, but you can talk to the system on a human-like level for these repetitive questions. Everything can go live in a very short time because we simply provide our customers with a phone number, and the only thing you have to do to go into production is to do a call forwarding, and then for the next call, our assistant goes to the telephone. I'm a little bit courageous today. I will try to do a live demo so you can get a feeling of the assistant. I hope it works with the Microsoft microphone and everything. This is always exciting for me if I do a live demo. So let's see how the assistant will work today. So let's see. Do you hear anything? Okay, no live demo today. If you want to try it for yourself, our booth is right in front of the door. Do you want to try to fix it?
Maybe with this one.
Oh, maybe with this one. Okay, let's try it again.
Sure, but we can try.
Yeah, we can try. Thank you.
Dr. Vitas. Ich bin Ben, Ihr virtueller Telefonassistent. Bitte sagen Sie mir, weswegen Sie anrufen. Rezeptverlängerung, Termin oder Rückruf?
Ich bräuchte einen Termin, bitte.
Gerne kümmere ich mich um Ihren Terminwunsch. Bitte nennen Sie mir Ihren vollständigen Namen.
Mein Name ist Olaf Scholz.
Alles klar. Bitte nennen Sie mir Ihr Geburtsdatum.
Das wäre der 4. August.
In welchem Jahr?
67.
Alles klar. Darf ich Ihre übermittelte Telefonnummer als Kontaktnummer abspeichern?
Ja, gerne.
Okay. Sind Sie gesetzlich oder privat versichert?
Ich bin gesetzlich versichert.
Okay. Welchen Termin benötigen Sie? Erstgespräch, Befundgespräch, MRT oder Wiedervorstellung?
Ich hätte gern einen Termin für ein Erstgespräch.
Okay. Passt es Ihnen vormittags oder nachmittags besser?
Vormittags wäre mir lieber.
Und haben Sie bestimmte Werktage, an denen es Ihnen besser passt?
Montags oder dienstags würde es am besten passen.
Dann wäre der nächste freie Termin Montag, der 10. Juli um 9:05 Uhr. Würde Ihnen das passen?
Wird es auch ein bisschen später gehen?
Der nächste freie Termin danach wäre Montag, der 10. Juli um 9:35 Uhr. Würde Ihnen das passen?
Ja, perfekt. Nehme ich.
Montag, der 10. Juli um 9:35 Uhr wurde ein Termin für Sie eingetragen. Denken Sie bitte, bringen Sie Ihre Versicherungskarte, vorhandene Arztbriefe und Ihre Medikamentenliste. Vielen Dank für Ihren Anruf. Ich wünsche Ihnen...
Perfect. So it worked. It's always like a little bit tricky with the microphone and everything. Great. As you can see, sorry that it was in German. I hope you could understand everything. As you can see, what happened was that our system is integrated with a calendar. So it looked up what slots for this specific appointment type is available, and then it checks the calendar and puts it inside there. And even if you don't have an integration, we heard it in the pitch before, integrations in the healthcare system is not always that easy. You can use our system as a ticket-based system. So, for example, if the patient wants a receipt, so Olaf Scholz calls and wants a receipt for ibuprofen, he can call our system, tell all the information that is needed, the name, the birthday, what medication, what potency, the phone number and everything. And it goes through the whole list, and the medical assistant, when she or he has time, she can go through this tickets and complete it and complete the receipts, which is really great. And you can see on the right side, you have the whole transcript. You can hear on everything a single position, and by this you have a nice quiet office without the phone ringing every 2 seconds. What is really great for medical practice is, of course, the cost savings. We try to get at least like the factor of 10 times as efficient. However, as I mentioned, we haven't had from our 150 customers, one single customer who said, okay, I will fire one of my assistants because the shortage of this specialist is so high. They're just happy that they're not quitting because of all the stress. And this is the biggest value we can provide for the healthcare sector. And with our customization possibility, with the data privacy and with the integration and natural language, we can offer a very seamless experience for the patient, but as well as for the employees. In the last few months, we got into bigger and bigger healthcare providers. So we started with medical offices, then we started with medical care centers, MVZ, and currently we are working together with 3 of the 10 biggest healthcare providers and clinics in Germany. And one thing that is coming all the time is the data privacy part. I think most of you know it from the healthcare sector. And the most questions we get in this area, how is the GDPR? I mean, this is a necessity. But on top of that, there are a lot of questions that are being asked, especially what I didn't thought would be so important is the usage of US providers. In the artificial intelligence segment, it's very common to use a Google, to use a Microsoft, but this is a no-go, especially for the bigger ones. And this is why we invested a lot of time to get this. Questions like how often is the data deleted? We had it on 4 weeks. Then we had a customer who said, okay, we need it in 7 days to customize everything of this. It takes a lot of time. And currently we're in a certification process of the ISO 27001. We have a lot of customers, especially in the healthcare sector. We have a lot of partners, for example, Zamedi with the integration in the calendar system. We're currently integrating more and more calendar system especially in the healthcare sector. We have some customer in the call center and the energy sector. However, currently 80% is healthcare providers. And the reason is the pull effect in this market is so high because of the shortage of skilled laborers. As I mentioned, 3 of the top 10 healthcare providers are currently in a pilot testing VITAS, and all of 3 are planning a rollout in the entire group. One of them is Asklepios, and I'm trying to impersonate Michael Wolf. I'm not sure if I should change my voice now, and tell you a little bit how Asklepios sees the whole process and how they think about integrated AI systems such as that. One thing which is really interesting for using a voice assistant based on AI as a pilot system for artificial intelligence is that it is not that critical as, for example, in a medical use. If you use it in a medical treatment, this could get very critical. For the first contact on the phone, it is not as critical. And you can see with ChatGPT and other technologies that this is coming. A lot of C-level executives are looking on this topic and want to implement it. And this is why a lot of healthcare providers start with real artificial intelligence in the area of voice assistance. Asklepios had a strategy in the area of digital transformation for a lot of years. And some of the key questions they had is how can they succeed the digital transformation in the clinics, but especially in the medical care centers, which had a lot of pressure from the market and from the current environment. And they want to use digital solution and processes to help going through this phase of the digital transformation and to have a value for the employees as well as for the patients. And for this, Asklepios rolled out a digital journey, a digital patient journey, so to get a holistic view and not to look on single solution, on single islands, because as patients, we also know it. If you go to a doctor's office, you already left your contact details, your information on the appointment scheduling. Then you have to leave it again for another formula. Then you have to put it inside again another, and an average a patient has to do like 3 or 4 steps where they put in every single time the same information. And this is why such a holistic view looking at the digital patient journey is so important. For the selection and contact part, this is the area where I go a little bit deeper. So starting from how does the patient find the doctor's offices, how do they get an appointment, how do they get the first information, and one thing which is currently piloting at Asklepios is to add the voice bot to the whole holistic digital journey. So for this part, the selection and contact, starting most of the time is by Googling. I need a doctor for X, I need a doctor for Y. However, in especially the healthcare providing market, a lot of patients are 60, 70, 80 plus. They use other ways as well. A lot of patients have the phone saved on their phone, the phone number, and they call no matter how many digital ways you offer the patients. But this contact channel is getting more and more important. One thing which more and more healthcare providers are trying to do to lower the amount of calls getting inside is to do online appointments, which is way more complicated, for example, than for a restaurant, because a restaurant is always, I need a table for 4 person on Saturday at 6 o'clock. For online appointments or for appointments in general in the digital healthcare market, you have a lot of questions you have to answer. Is it that? Is it that? A lot of patients don't know what appointment type they really need. So this is something which is very difficult to automate. We're working very close with Samedi, which is one of our partners, and Asklepios is rolling out Samedi in a lot of locations as well, and they offer appointment scheduling 24/7. However, as I mentioned, this is one part of the solution. We have noticed that with online appointments, the amount of calls can get reduced. However, the target group is not as affine for digital solutions on websites, and sometimes 70 to 90% of the calls are still coming through the phone, and appointment scheduling online is not the solution for everything. And this is why we work very closely with these calendar systems. We are offering the same experience on the phone, so you can get a calendar, but also like receipts. I need a referral for another doctor, and information and use cases like this as a patient as well. The nice thing is it's reachable 24/7. A lot of time patients call at 12 o'clock when they have a break from work. So in this time, we have a huge peak, and the reachability, especially in doctor offices, gets lower and lower. And with getting voice bots such as VITAS, the patient satisfaction can get better and is improved. And it's a significant relief for the staff. And currently, together with Asklepios, we are in a pilot phase, and we're planning to roll out it in the whole group. So to get again to the whole journey, it's not only the selection contact phase, but you can integrate a voice bot in a whole a lot of other areas as well. For example, to automate forms or medical history from patients, but also as follow-up appointments, follow-up questions, prescription orders, and further information and use cases as well. Currently, with Asklepios, we are piloting in 4 locations, both in clinics as well as in medical care centers. We would like to give you some lessons learned and challenges we had together with Asklepios. One thing is AI is in a lot of pitches, but nevertheless, it's a novelty to get it in a production-ready system for a lot of healthcare providers as well. So we work very closely with the Asklepios team in the legal department, especially for the data protection, with the work council, with IT, with the different locations. And we had a lot of challenges, as I already mentioned. Data protection is a bigger challenge. However, we could solve it altogether by implementing all requirements. Work council is very interesting as well, because you're automating workforce, and this is always a question how this would get into the future. So this is a very interesting topic. However, the work councils we have met in healthcare providers are very happy and open for this solution, because they see the shortage of skilled workers, they see the stress, they see the pressure, and they can understand this can be a good and great relief. And the IT is very happy as well, because they don't have to get as involved, because the whole cloud and system with the forwarding of the numbers is not as complex to integrate. It's not a huge project as with many other solutions. And with a no-code platform, everyone, even the doctor, the medical assistant with no IT knowledge at all, can customize everything on our no-code basis. A lot of time we get partial concerns from the employees as well as the patients. And the reason behind that is because of bad experiences with other hotlines. So this is something we see a lot of time. The medical assistant says, I have called Vodafone last week. It was terrible. I was in the loop for the whole time. I couldn't get through. Nothing happened. The system couldn't understand me. I was pressing numbers all the time. And this is something we see, especially if we pitch our system, if we get into production. However, during the first couple of days, it always shifts. It's always the same story. It's like, it's probably not working. Okay, we try it. Oh, great. I don't want to miss it anymore. This is a lot of time with Asklepios. With some locations, we had the same experience, especially also with patients. However, with awareness campaigns and with a familiarization phase, there is a high acceptance, because the patient also sees, okay, I don't have to call 6 times, but I can call 1 time. I get my appointment, I get my prescription. Great, awesome. And if anything should be with a higher priority, for example, someone is hurt or other problems, we can customize the system so it gets forwarded to the medical assistants, and they only have to answer 10 or 20% of the calls. So the results were also very interesting because also data, we had this in a lot of pitches as well, is very insightful. A lot of times we see, okay, there's so many calls in the dermatology. How come? These are also always interesting insights because this data is currently not available. Everything is doing by hand, and by that you can optimize the processes as well. And Asklepios noticed a significant relief at the locations during the pilot phase. And a couple of sites said they don't want to wait. They don't want to stop the piloting phase, and they purchased their own licenses without waiting for the whole group license because they said this is such a benefit for the doctor offices, for the patients, and they don't want to wait anymore. So thank you for your time. If you have questions, our booth is on the other way of the door, right on the right side. My colleague Andreas Fauler and me will be very happy to answer all your questions. And if you want to try it, just come to us or visit our website. You can call it and you can get an own account in 1 minute or in 2 minutes, and you can play around with it and see how the AI works and if it really works. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas.